Okay, let's discuss triggers today. Um, so, what is a trigger? Uh, Usually, it's a strong emotional reaction you have, and it's quite disproportionate to whatever's happened. Um, and the reason you have these triggers is because you've had a series of events that have happened, might be with a particular people or a group of people. So, if I'm talking from the perspective of a co-parent, it may be your ex and your ex's family. So clearly, obviously, things are broken down, which is why you're no longer together. Um, and they may have treated you in a certain way that when you are faced with that same situation again, and it might not even be a severe situation, it may be something small that your co parent may have said. It may be even something that your child says that triggers you a lot. You find yourself immediately going into anger or frustration. And especially if you've been through abuse, your anxiety riles up again. So I know for me, it was this deep um, pain in the pit of my stomach, which just wouldn't go away. Like I had it for, I think, a good 1 to 2 years. It took such a long time for it to go away. So for each person, it's different. For some people, it's if it's trauma related, it's going to be anxiety. For some people, it could be depression. It could be some kind of mental health. For other people, it can just be just straight out anger. And so today I just want to kind of go over what are the things that we can do as Muslim women when we are faced with dealing with the things that our children say to us or our co-parent is saying to us. What are the things that we can say and do in that situation to ensure that we are doing the best we can? So the first thing I would say is you've got to disengage. You have got to take a step back, protect yourself, because you are in that moment when you're triggered, you're in flight or flight mode. So in that moment, you are just thinking you are in danger. Someone is out to hurt you. You're thinking irrationally. For me, going back to my anxiety, it was so severe. I ensured that there was minimum contact between me and my children's father. And that was just to protect myself because I kept going into flight or flight, which is for a very long time. Obviously, trust has broken. You don't trust this person. You know that they've done certain things in the past to hurt you. So you are not going to put yourself in a situation where you're going to be hurt again. And so, how do you disengage? For me, it was I needed to go no contact. Not my children, but me. I had to ensure there was no contact. So you either can use a family member, your wali, anyone that can be a middle party. If you've got a situation where the other party isn't going to talk to the middle person, but if that somebody in between can't be there, well, this is the perks of living in the 21st century with all the technological advancements we have. You can use email, WhatsApp. I mean, I wouldn't recommend WhatsApp personally, but you can use email. You can use a parenting app. So I use a parenting app personally. And so how you can disengage is if you're reading something that triggers you, you just put the phone down and walk away. I can say from my own situation when I've been triggered and I know I'm upset and I know that right now various things have been said which I absolutely I'm jumping to conclusions about and I'm really getting upset and riled up. I can't put that phone down. I have to say something. I have to write something that is going to like dispel whatever it is I'm feeling, which is going to turn into more of an argument. So you got to be really careful about what you say. It's not easy. So the main thing is you need to walk away. You need to think to yourself, what is it that I need to do in this situation? So some practical things you can do is first and foremost, you need to breathe. Literally breathe. Close your eyes and just really deeply into your brain and slowly breathe out through your mouth and just keep doing that. And I know that we hear it all the time, but honestly, it really helps. And I'm someone who can really say to you that it really helps being able to just breathe through your nose and breathe out. And in that moment, and this is something that I would always say, is you have to turn to Allah. Now, how do you do that? What's a practical way of turning to Allah. It's saying His name or reminding yourself of what is greater than this trigger or this moment that has upset you and frustrated you or has really triggered you. Reminding yourself that there is something greater that is going to take care of you and protect you more than what's upsetting you right now, what you think is coming out to harm you. So anytime you feel like someone's going to come to harm you, even though logically doesn't make sense, but when you're in fight and flight mode, it's going to happen. You want to say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. That there is no power and there is no might except for Allah, the Most High, the Most Great. And you just keep saying that to yourself. So while you're doing your breathing, you just remind yourself, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, Ya Rab, there is nothing more powerful. Like really allow yourself to sit and feel those words. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. There is no power, there is nothing mightier than Allah Almighty. And I'm telling you, it really helps. It really helps a lot. So another thing I would say is your trigger is you getting angry. That's the baseline of it. You're angry, you're upset. So how do you calm yourself down? Follow what the Prophet ﷺ has said, which is, if you're standing, then sit. If you're sitting, then lay down. If you're laying down and you're still angry, get up, go pray, do your wudu and pray 2 rak'ahs. I think it's easier said than done. So another practical thing is just go and vent off to someone, not your child. They're not the one that you vent off to. It's very easy to snap and maybe want to say something to what your child may have told you, or snap. Go call or speak to someone that you trust and you love, that you know they're not going to be sharing your business out, but let it all out. Let all that steam out. Everything that you would have wanted to say to that person, but you can't say it to them, get it all out your system, and it'll help you to feel relaxed again. Cry it out, whatever it is. I don't know however you know how to handle your anger. And you'll be fine. The next thing I would say is reminding yourself that you are always, I can't emphasize this enough, you always have to keep your child's best interest at heart. I know it's really hard, but it's got to be done. Your child deserves for their mother to be a stable human being. So you've got to be the adult. You are the adult, so you've got to behave like one. So even though you don't like it, you want to go have a hissy fit and you want to go have a tantrum or whatever it is you want to do, go have it. But you make sure that in the end, you are doing in the best interest of your child. So that conversation, whatever's triggered you, can you let it go? And the answer needs to be yes. And if you can't, which has happened a few times to me as well, if you can't let it go, what's the next thing you do? Okay, give a neutral response, not an abusive one, not a rant. Just give a response that is going to give you that peacefulness that you stood up for yourself. So for example, if it was a response or if it was something that you were really upset and it's not how it happened, you can just say something simply like, okay, thank you for letting me know. Especially if you're somebody who's been through some really severe abuse and trauma, you're not having these triggers and reactions for no reason. It's not because you're this crazy woman that doesn't know how to handle her emotions. When you've been through severe abuse and severe trauma, what you're worried about and the things that you're trying to defend yourself about, you have every right to protect yourself as best as you think you need to. But you have to remind yourself that there is a responsibility on you to stay within the boundaries. You can't meet a wrong action with your own wrong. It doesn't work like that. Just because somebody else stepped out of their boundary doesn't mean it's okay for you to do it now. Just because, that person in the marriage, your ex did this and this and his family did this and this. So now I am going to do outside of the marriage. That's your test now. If the test was that in the marriage, Allah was watching how they were treating you because you were in a position that was of vulnerability. And now that the tables have turned and now they're in the position of vulnerability, because a father is literally in the place of vulnerability when it comes to a woman being with the children. Allah's going to test you now. So don't mess up. Simple as that. And finally, always remember that your most amazing superpower, which will always be your superpower, is if it is ultimately Allah Almighty that has put you in that situation. Okay. So when you're co-parenting, you're not co-parenting because it was just random, your marriage didn't work out. No, okay, your marriage didn't work out. But Allah Almighty has put you in that position now because Allah Almighty expects certain things from you. And so you need to figure that out now. You need to ensure that you are dealing with things with love and respect. And you are putting Allah at the forefront. Every single thing you go through, you've got to put Allah at the forefront. So now that you're going through your co-parenting journey and now you're a co-parent, tough, you don't want to be in this position, but Allah put you in that position, and every single responsibility we have on our shoulders is a means of becoming closer to Allah. So now that you are a co-parent, and now that you have to still be civil with somebody that caused you so much pain, every situation is different. But now that you have to be with somebody that's caused you so much pain, now you are in a situation where you have to figure it out, whether you like it or not. So you've got to ask yourself, when you're feeling that pain, when you're feeling the triggers, once you've done the practical things to calm yourself down, ask yourself, now what was Allah trying to teach me through it? And I've always found that being one of the most powerful things. When I've sat back with my pain, what is this pain? Why am I experiencing it? So you can have a conversation about all the reasons, and you'll have somebody, an amazing person in your circle, who will sit down and listen to all the sad stories that happened to you, that got you to where you are today, why you're feeling that pain. And if you really have an amazing person, they will then sit with you and figure out, okay, this pain that you're experiencing now, what is it trying to teach you? So you've got to ask, what is Allah trying to teach me through this pain? And when you get to the answer to that, and you will end with a smile on your face, because you'll be like, oh, Ya Rab, you really did love me, didn't you? And that is that.